Hi there. This video is about showing you how to add data to ArcGIS Online. And what I have here is, my Windows Explorer window, and I have a browser window over here. So let's have a look at this. Here's my flash drive. Let's click on the flash drive. Go into the data folder. And then here I have a folder called colleges. And then I double click on this folder. You can see a shapefile, right? So this is a shapefile. It has all the pieces of a shapefile, the DBF, which is the attribute table, the SHP, which is the shapefile, and so on and so forth. So the first thing I need to do if I want to upload this and map it in ArcGIS Online, I have to zip it. In order to zip it, it's pretty straightforward. We highlight the files we want to zip, right? In this case, we want to zip up all the pieces of the shapefile. I've done that. Once I've highlighted it, I go to Share, click on the Share tab up here, and I have options here, and I want to zip it. So that's pretty straightforward. I click on Zip, and I can give this a name. By default, it's called colleges _ universities. That's probably a good name to use. Perfect. All right. So now I'm ready. I'm going to go over to my browser. I'm going to go to ArcGIS Online. I'm going to log in there, and I'm going to log in as here with my John student account. So I sign in. And we end up here. Next thing you want to do is just click on Content. And here is the content for John's student. Couple of folders here, right? Here's the folder for our class. Here's the junk folder. Just gonna click on that folder. And inside that folder is a web map that we played around with yesterday. Now what you want to do is go up here and hit Add Item. So we click on that, and we want to add an item from your computer. So we click on that. Dialog box pops up. Choose file. All right, let's try that. Let's go over to the flash drive, into the data folder, into the colleges folder, and select the zip file we just created. Click open. It's smart enough to recognize, hey, this is a shapefile. By default here, it publishes this as a hosted layer, which is a good thing. A hosted feature layer is basically the equivalent of a feature class in ArcGIS Online. So we like that. It gives a title. I always like to put my initials at the back of it. So I just put _CB. And then remember, you always need tags. A good tag is always test, right? Because maybe we're just testing right now. And then we hit Add Item. And now what happens is that, this file is now uploaded and converted to ArcGIS Online and converted into a hosted feature layer. So this takes a little bit of time, as that file is being uploaded and as the conversion is happening. But once it's done, it looks like this, right? And you have a lot of options here in terms of what you can do. You can directly open it into the map viewer. But what I like to do is go back to the content and see what I just actually uploaded. So we click on content, right? And here we have what just happened. Here is the shapefile that was just uploaded. Perfect. And then here is the hosted feature layer that was created from that shapefile. So that's the one we want to work with. That's the one we want to map. All right. So different ways to do this. We can just click on it. It opens basically the description, and then we can go to open in map viewer, and we have two options here, right? Add to a new map with full editing controls, or use that new map viewer. We don't want that. We just want to add it to a new map. And now it's just added to a map for us, right? Give it a second. Here we go, right? So the points now are mapped. These are the locations, in this case, of colleges and universities across Massachusetts. Here's our layer, right? We can click on that, and then you get the options here below. For example, if you click on this, show table shows us the attribute table. All right, attribute table is open below. You can see all the attributes that comes along with that particular data set. We can change the symbology, we can filter, we can also click on this, rename it, configure the pop-ups, and so forth. So that's how you upload, in this case, a shapefile to ArcGIS Online, right? The next step then would be to save the map and then to share it, right? But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how to upload now a table, basically a spreadsheet. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to content, right? And I'm just going to log out just to start fresh. So I'm going to go to John Student and say sign out. All right. So that was how you upload a shapefile. Now, let's upload a table. So I got a table here. I have it in my downloads folder. This is a CSV file, right, called colleges. Let's just double click on that and take a look at it in Microsoft Excel. And my Microsoft Excel takes a little bit to open, but here we have a table, right? And when you look at this, you know, you can stretch out those columns. This is geospatial data. It has, you know, it has street address, city, zip code, and then it has a whole bunch of attribute information associated with it. So obviously we can map this, right? Because we have geospatial data. We have, on one hand, the location of these features, in this case in address format, and then we have attribute data for that. Perfect. So let's upload that to ArcGIS Online. I'm just going to close this. I don't want to save any changes. All right, perfect. So let's sign back in. Oh, now it wants me to sign in as Carsten Braun. We can do that for fun. Let's sign in as myself. So sign in. All right, but the workflow is very similar. Again, you want to go to content. And, you know, here's my content, which is a mess. Lots of folders, lots of files. Let's see if I have a junk folder. Oh, there's a junk folder. Here's my junk folder. So let's go and hit add item. Let's upload this CSV file. Add item. I'm going to add an item from my computer. Choose the file. Okay, here we go. I want to go to my downloads folder. I'm going to click on that CSV file, click open. Right, now ArcGIS Online goes like, hey, look at this. This file is a table, right? And let's give it a title, colleges. Again, I always just like to put underscore my initials behind it. Tags, right? You always have to have tags. I'm just going to use test here. Again, by default, it publishes this as a hosted layer, which is what we want. That's good. It already, ArcGIS Online is smart enough to see, hey, guess what, right? This file has addresses or places, right? And then we can go down here and select the geocoding, right? We're going to use the field name address as the address. We're going to use city for city. And, you know, we can use the zip codes as well, right? We can click on that if we wanted to, right? And we can use zip here. And then we're in a good shape, right? And then we can hit add item. So now the basic same process happens as before. ArcGIS Online uploads the CSV file and converts it to a hosted feature service, which is a hosted feature layer, which is basically a feature class. And there we go. Looks pretty promising. It tells us that it was able to accurately geocode all locations. We don't have to review that, so that's good, right? So now we are here, we're looking at our hosted feature service, and we can just click on Open in Map Viewer. And there we go, right? here we can immediately say like, hey, what do we want to map? In this case, there's an attribute for the category of the particular college and university, and sort of the smart mapping routine says, hey, why don't we map that? That's a good thing. You know, if we can different colors here for the different types of colleges and universities. So we can just hit done for now. All right. So here we have our map, looks pretty good. And again, we can change the symbology if we want to. We can click on this and rename the layer. If we want to not to call it colleges CB, we can rename it into something more useful. Let's say colleges and universities. All right, same thing you do in ArcGIS Pro. Just make sure your table of content is nicely organized. Again, we can look at the attribute table. All right, just show table, and at the bottom we have the attribute table, very similar as it would look in ArcGIS Pro. And again, we have a bunch of attributes that we can now use. So for example, we could make this into a choropleth map and show for example, the color or the size of the symbol as a function of one of the attributes if we wanted to. Right now we're showing category, but we could certainly choose other attributes here as well. And then all we'd have to do is we could do let's close this. We could then, of course, save it, share it, and then most interestingly, of course, for us coming up is now perform geospatial analysis. So we hit this and we can do all kinds of things, on which we're going to do the next few weeks, doing network analysis here in ArcGIS Online. So here you saw the two ways that you can upload, if you will, data, your own data from your own computer to ArcGIS Online. One workflow was using a zip file, a zip shapefile in that, or if you have data in a table, in a spreadsheet, as long as it's geospatial data, meaning that it has location, whether that location is geographic coordinates or addresses, you can upload that and create a hosted feature layer and map that in ArcGIS Online. All right, that's it for now. We'll see you back in the slide deck.